While Wisconsin basketball and football get so much national attention, the program that flies under the radar year in and year out is our women's hockey team. Under Mark Johnson, the Badgers have built a dynasty, winning 7 national titles and are seeking their 8th title this year. This is the story of the greatest Wisconsin sports dynasty. This is the story of the Wisconsin women's hockey team. But before we get into this, if you enjoy college sports content like this, make sure to leave a like and subscribe. Also, let me know who your favorite hockey team is in the comment section below. Wisconsin women's hockey team is relatively a young program, starting back in 1999. The move was part of a broader trend in the late 1990s when many universities were expanding their athletic offerings to include more women's programs, partly in response to Title IX, the federal law passed in 1972 that mandated equal opportunities for women in education and athletics. For Wisconsin, the decision to add women's hockey also helped strengthen its overall athletic program. The state has a rich tradition of hockey, with strong youth and high school hockey programs, so creating a women's team provided an opportunity to continue that tradition at the collegiate level. Furthermore, it allowed Wisconsin to tap into a growing pool of talented female hockey players, helping to promote the sport and increase its visibility. The hockey program would be Wisconsin's 12th women's sport when it was announced. The first coach of the program would be Julie Sasner, who was hired on July 10, 1998. She played ice hockey and soccer at Harvard, being named a 4-time All-Ivy League hockey selection for the Crimson and Player of the Year in 1988, leading the Crimson to the Ivy League title in 1988. She also would play for the first U.S. women's national team in 1990, where they would go on to win the silver medal at the World Championship. She started her coaching career the following year at California State Hayward, where she would be named the NCAA Division II West Region and Northern California Athletic Conference Coach of the Year in 1991. After going 11-26-1, she would accept the head coaching position at Cornell, where she led them to the Ivy League title in 1996, going 53-60-6 as the Big Reds head coach. Under Sasner, Wisconsin would go 15-8-1, losing in the semifinals of the WCHA tournament to Minnesota, and she would leave to become an assistant for the U.S. women's national team, leaving Trina Borje as the interim head coach for the 2000 and 2001 season. The Badgers would finish that year 21-9-5 and lost in the semifinals of the WCHA championship tournament to Minnesota Duluth. The success under Borje would lead to Wisconsin removing the interim tag and naming her the second head coach in program history. She would lead the Badgers to a 22-11-2 record in 2001-2002, would take a medical leave of absence in January of that year. Assistant coach Tracy Cronell and Dan Koch would lead the program to the WCHA championship game, where they would fall to rival Minnesota 3-2. Following the season, Borje would resign as head coach, meaning for the third time in 4 years, the Badgers were looking for a brand new head coach. The man they chose to hire would turn out to possibly be the greatest hire in Wisconsin Badger sports history. That man would be Mark Johnson. Johnson grew up in Madison, playing high school hockey for James Madison Memorial Hockey, and then for the Wisconsin Badgers in college under his father, the great Badger Bob Johnson. The man who's credited for building Wisconsin's men's hockey and who led the Pittsburgh Penguins to their first Stanley Cup. Mark would put together a successful collegiate career, going down as one of the greatest players to ever play for the Badgers, but is more well known for being a part of the U.S. men's hockey 1980 gold medal team, where he would score 2 goals in the Miracle on Ice semifinal against the Soviet Union. He'd be drafted by the Pittsburgh Penguins 66th overall in 1977 and played 11 seasons in the NHL before deciding to retire. He would start his coaching career with the Madison Monster of the UHL before being hired by Wisconsin to be an assistant for the men's hockey program. He would spend 6 years with the men's team before the head coaching job opened up for the Badgers. Johnson would not be hired for the head coaching position, with the job going to his former teammate Mike Eaves. This left Johnson with a choice: remain an assistant under one of his friends to stay with the Badgers, or jump up to the NHL, taking an assistant position at the pro level. Johnson explained, "I had kids at the time and had been traded a few times in the NHL. I want to go back to that lifestyle if I had a choice." Little did Johnson know, but the women's head coaching position would open up as well, but was considered a riskier move for both sides. Skeptics didn't believe that a legendary men's player would stick in the women's game. They assumed Johnson would jump at the first job at a men's program or an NHL team. Johnson risked jumping over to the women's game and never being able to come back to the men's game. Johnson's desire to keep his family in Madison and run his own program went out. He was named head coach of the women's hockey team ahead of the 2002-2003 season. During his introductory press conference, he laid out the plan and vision he had for the program. After 2 coaches in 3 years, he also wanted to provide stability and raise the profile of the upstart program that had found early success. Johnson could have jumped to the NHL a few months after taking the women's head coaching job, when, ironically, Tony Granato of the Colorado Avalanche would offer an assistant position, but Johnson was happy with his choice and turned it down. Wisconsin would slowly build over Johnson's first 2 seasons, going 22-8-5 in his first year and 25-6-3 his second year. Finally, for the first time in school history, the Badgers would make the NCAA tournament after losing to Minnesota in the WCHA championship game again. They would unfortunately lose in the first round at Dartmouth, but the program had developed its building blocks. He had established a team-first culture and a strong, relatively simple identity for the program. Koch spoke on Johnson saying he's a teacher of the game. He's someone that feels if you can skate, pass, shoot, stick handle better than other teams, your percentage of winning are going up. Off the ice, Johnson challenged the university to move the program's home ice from a community rink in the suburbs to the Kohl Center. Jackie Crum explained, he just came in and provided stability. You had a startup program and this legendary Badger came in. Everyone respected him. He knows hockey, and his style of coaching just fits for a female hockey player. The Badgers would go on a magical run in 2005-2006, finally winning their first regular season conference title, beating Minnesota 4-1 in the conference title game to win the first conference tournament title, making the school's first Frozen Four, and beating Minnesota in the NCAA title game to win the program's first national championship, and finish the year 36-4-1. Became the first Division I program not in the state of Minnesota to win the NCAA's Women's Hockey Championship. They would repeat in 2007, finishing the year 36-1-4, and the Badgers were here to stay as they built up their dynasty. Wisconsin quickly became a destination for elite hockey players, including future Hall of Fame inductees Megan Duggan, Hillary Knight, and Brianna Decker, who all won championships with the Badgers. There was also Canadian Olympic defender Carla McLeod, U.S. Olympian Molly Engstrom, and Megan Hunter, who is now an assistant GM of the Chicago Blackhawks on the early Mark Johnson teams. In 2008, the Badgers would make it to their 3rd straight national title game, but would fall to Minnesota Duluth like they did in the WCHA title game that same year, but their 4th straight appearance in both the WCHA title game and national title game, winning both to make it to their 3rd WCHA title and 3rd national title, finishing the year 34-2-5. Johnson would not coach the Badgers during the 2009-2010 season due to coaching the women's national team, and the Badgers would go 18-15-3 under Tracy DeKaiser, missing the NCAA tournament for the first time since 2004. When Johnson returned for the 2010-2011 season, the Badgers would play with vengeance, going 37-2-2, winning the WCHA regular season and conference title, and winning the school's 4th national title in 6 years with a 4-1 win over Boston. In 2011-2012, the Badgers would win the WCHA regular season title, lost to Minnesota Duluth in the conference title game, and to Minnesota in the national title game, their 6th appearance in the title game in 7 years. In 2012, Wisconsin would open LeBron Arena, which was built to provide professional-level facilities for its sports teams. When it was built in 2012, it was only the 2nd women's hockey-specific rink built in the country after Ritter Arena in Minnesota. The Wisconsin women's hockey facility has a big locker room, training facilities, therapy pools, hot tub, and cold tubs, and sauna, and a team lounge which serves as a central spot for players to hang out between classes and practice. The stadium ticket usually sells out, as I found it difficult to get to a game throughout my college career in Madison and hope to get to the game down the road one of these days. The stadium is general admission, and diehard fans arrive hours before the game to lock up their seats. From 2014 to 2017, the Badgers would make 3 straight Frozen Fours before losing to Clarkson in the national title game in 2018. During that period, the Badgers would dominate the WCHA, winning 4 straight tournament titles. In 2018, they would lose in the Frozen Four in overtime to Colgate 4-3, but in 2019, they would win their 5th national title in school history. In 2020, the Badgers would be left wondering what if, after falling to Ohio State in the WCHA title game 1-0 in overtime, but the NCAA tournament would be canceled due to world events. They would get revenge in 2021, winning the WCHA regular season title, beating Ohio State in the conference title game, and winning their 6th national title in school history. In 2023, they would win their 7th national title, would fall to Ohio State in the 2024 national title game 1-0. Heading into the 2024-2025 season, there were high expectations for the Badgers. They came into the season ranked number 1 in the nation according to the USA Hockey and Rink Live poll, and number 2 ranking in the USCHO poll. 3 WCHA teams took over the top 3 spots in both polls. Ohio State and Minnesota followed the Badgers in the 2nd and 3rd. In the USA Hockey poll, and Ohio State, the reigning national champions, came in ahead of the Badgers in the USCHO poll. They were coming off a 35-6-1 season in 2023-2024 and brought back 2 of the 3 finalists for the Patty Kazmaier Award in 5th-year senior Casey O'Brien and junior Kirsten Sims. The team featured the most returning goals and points than any other team in program history. They also brought back junior defender Caroline Harvey and junior forward Layla Edwards, who were the last 2 USA Hockey Women's Player of the Year. While there were a lot of players with accolades returning, this team was focused on playing as a we rather than a me. O'Brien spoke on the national title loss, saying, "Last year was the first year that I've been into the national championship and lost. That was a feeling that I don't ever want to feel again. So everything we do, every extra skill session, every battle drill and practice, that's kind of in the back of your mind that we are playing to win it all this year." The Badgers would open up the season 13-0 before falling to Ohio State on the road 3-2 to split the series with the Buckeyes. They would then proceed to win 7 straight before losing to Ohio State in a shootout and at home. They closed out the regular season on an 11-game win streak, winning the regular season title. They would go on to beat Minnesota in the tournament championship game to lock up the number 1 seed heading into the NCAA tournament. The Badgers are 4 lines deep, full of talent, and goalie Ava McNaughton has stopped 95% of the shots she has faced this season. O'Brien, Harvey, and Edwards were announced as the finalists for the Patty Kaz Award, and 5 players have been selected to the U.S. national team. O'Brien, Edwards, Kirsten Sims, and Harvey are 4 of the top 5 scorers in the NCAA this season. They open up the NCAA tournament against Clarkson, and this video is being recorded before that game due to my work schedule. This team may be one of, if not the greatest teams to ever play a season, not just for the Badgers, but across women's hockey in general. The Badgers have built a dynasty under Johnson, winning the WCHA regular season title 10 times, the conference tournament title 11 times, making the NCAA tournament 18 times, making the Frozen Four 15 times, making the NCAA title game 11 times, and winning 7 national titles. The coaching staff has been together for 15 years, remains hungry to this day. I didn't know much about the Badgers women hockey team before I was a student at Wisconsin, but I couldn't be more proud of this team. Wisconsin is a women's hockey school, and I can't wait to see how they close out the regular season and what Johnson does for the program in the future. What do you think? Are the Wisconsin Badgers the greatest women's hockey program? Let me know in the comment section below. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to check out one of my other videos YouTube thinks you will love right here. Thank you so much for watching, and as always, remember to embrace the grind.